This is the E-commerce Brain Trust, a podcast about building momentum online for established consumer brands. Join our hosts and their expert guests for high-level conversations about e-commerce strategies, trends, and innovations. Access our brain trust and boost your brand's e-commerce potential.
Welcome to another edition of the Retail Roundup. I'm Jordan Ripley, sitting in today for Julie Spear, who is taking some well-deserved time off and will be back for our next episode. But we are now done with June, and despite Prime Day breathing down our collective necks, which maybe you can see from our faces and hopefully not hear from our voices, but Ross and Armin have graciously taken some time out of their day to join us, break down all the industry updates. We have some monumental partnerships that came through over the past month, some new retailer product developments, all the good stuff that we usually cover on this show. And so with that, welcome Armin and welcome Ross.
Thanks, Jordan. Good to be back.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good to have you. Let's just dive right into it because there's a lot that we need to cover or want to cover, I should maybe say. But first question that I have for the both of you is this sort of maybe existential or philosophical question of if builds a product in the woods, but nobody engages with the product, does it make a sound? I'm, of course, speaking about Amazon posts, the sort of social media stepchild within the Amazon ecosystem. Armin, Ross, what's your take here? Posts have been around for years at this point, but this development just snuck out in their release notes that they would be deprecating it. So yeah, I'll leave it open to both of you. What's your sort of initial take on this deprecation announcement?
Yeah. Does it make an impression? Does it make a conversion, right?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all. We've had a decent number of brands that actually ran posts. And it was one of those things that's like low effort, doesn't hurt to do it. And then based on the data I was looking at for multiple brands, impressions were actually pretty good. Amazon was pushing it, but then when you look at the engagement, it was way, way low. Conversions and just like people clicking on it was not happening. And that's, I guess, the reason why Amazon is terminating this. And then if we also look at it from a kind of real estate perspective, it's like taking room on PDPs in SERP, in category feeds and whatnot. And then even the message from Amazon was like, we're shutting this down, but we encourage you to explore sponsored advertising solution. This is what you should do. And then also when I think about this, it's like, how many times has Amazon tried to be social? It's like maybe third, fourth attempt now. And every time we come to a conclusion that shoppers are here to shop and they're not here to browse content. So
yeah, two great points there. The deprecation note of, hey, don't use our free organic products. Try spending where we can cram in some more ad load. I think that's very apt here. The other sort of longer trend of, I think Amazon has done a really good job in the content world on the platforms where users expect to encounter content. Like we have Prime Video, we have streaming content. Amazon has expanded into live sports, all of these verticals where it's like, I go there, I want to consume content. And yes, you also serve me ads while I'm there that are highly relevant and like data driven, and that's great. But the inverse where it's like, I'm on Amazon, the marketplace to shop, and now you're serving me content that's like somewhat relevant, but mostly just like brands shilling for their products in a kind of sassy way in a content world. That's where I think it goes to like Amazon Spark or all of these things where it's like, where we try to shoehorn social media into a marketplace.
90% of that content was just recycling what you already do on your social.
Yeah.
There was not adaptation for Amazon specifically.
Like Instagram, try Instagram on our PDPs, right?
Yeah, I think the initial idea was that posts would eventually become sponsored, but my guess is that it never gained the, the critical mass to value that, or to be valued as like an independent inventory source. Not with a big out with a bang. Not out with a bang, but with a whisper, essentially.
Yeah. I feel like there was some promise with this where there was the idea of brand followers, right? You could have brand followers that subscribe to your store, right? And then they could also subscribe via your posts. And then that sort of interacted with the manage your customer engagement tool and stuff. But once MYCE was deprecated, it was like, I feel like that was the first step in this death knell of this whole sort of follower engagement ecosystem that Amazon seemed to be doing organically, but never quite seemed to gain traction. So the fact that posts followed makes sense to me.
That clues me in because I'm almost certain that followers and like post subscribers or post viewers were never AMC signals. It just wasn't a part of the ecosystem. It seems like it was someone's pet project and they couldn't get an AI to do it. And so they shut it down.
Yeah. That might be a trend for a lot of products, perhaps. I think we get a sense of where Amazon's priorities lie from what they deprecate, what they kill. But even more so, right, we get an understanding of where the future might be headed from the investments they announce. And a couple big investments that came through announced at Cannes just a couple of weeks ago were one, a partnership with Roku, which has been a sort of partnership happy platform across various retail media networks. Another big partnership with Disney and their real-time ad exchange. I think they're calling Drax, which sounds like a cool robot. In fact, it's just another ad exchange. Two big partnerships here across the technology and publisher landscape. Ross, I'm just curious, as a frequent DSP buyer, we have a lot of our brands now that are spending heavily into the upper funnel across DSP. How promising is this? How does it change your near-term tactics? What are you looking into for these two partnerships?
I think the Disney one is great because one of the reasons why some of our clients worked with us and other STV or CTV providers is because it wasn't available through Amazon. So no Hulu, no Disney meant if you wanted access to these channels, you needed multiple partners or a partner that was well-versed in multiple trading platforms. So like Amazon DSP and the Trade Desk or Disney's system or whatever. Having that all be rolled into one, I think solves a pain point of more brands just wanting to do all their buying in one place. There's a ton of efficiencies from doing it all in one place. And Amazon's capabilities and audience data are great. And now enriched further by having the Disney signals. Knowing what Disney programs people watch helps you do better buying broadly. And then having the Disney inventory to drill into also allows you to expand your reach to additional customers. It also helps with a bigger challenge for marketers, which is I want to make sure that my frequency is like capped across platforms. And that's why buying on multiple DSPs makes it a big challenge because you're like, I served ads to a customer 10 times with DSP and then 20 times with this other DSP. I have 30 exposures. That's crazy town. Now it's a lot easier to be like, no, I'm going to cap it across everything because I'm doing all my buying in one place. That's really helpful.
And I know from prior podcasts that we've had that in general, we found pretty good results with the more premium of inventory, right? The mediums where it's perhaps a higher CPM, but the content and audience that you're accessing are worthwhile for that. My instinct here is this Disney partnership expands that premium area of the media buying segment. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I think it does. It's very much more the like premium inventory for premium brands, for premium exposure. We've seen that it's really helped with recall. It's really helped with ad efficacy at all stages of the funnel. And so now you get like interactive ads that you can bring into that and have some more like mid-funnel engagement, even with a CTV or STV ad. I use those interchangeably. I would like to just say STV, but the whole universe says CTV. So it's very hard to keep it all straight. Roku is on the other side of it though. Roku is the flip side. Roku is like everybody's watching anything on Roku for free. This is not like the premium inventory, but it's got the reach. It's got a lot of reach. Roku, I think, is really valuable. And so is having Disney too. But having Roku now, I think, does a couple of really valuable things. Because one, you increase the number of users that you can be exposed to at lower cost, which is really valuable for like your STV buys broadly when you're trying to reach a lot of people. But also, it really helps to have the Roku inventory because, it satisfies the base, get the word out, get your awareness up more clearly.
Yeah, the Roku is always interesting to me in where it sits like as that sort of technology broker and a publisher where it's like you can buy ads directly on the Roku technology, but then also connects into a lot of these publisher platforms. So I guess to introduce our faithful hype meter, is this a 7, 8, 9, 10? Where do you go on the hype meter?
I would put them both at 10. Like, I think they're both big names, both potentially have a big impact in terms of like your ability to address more consumers and incremental consumers, which is like probably the biggest thing that everyone is seeking after. It also, I think, helps potentially solve one of Amazon's current challenges, which is there are lots of environments where we serve DSP ads, but there are barriers to track its tracking capability. Amazon's tracking can't follow through a paywall or through a walled garden. We can serve the ad, but we don't know the user experience anymore. Having the ability to now marry the Roku user with the Amazon login, like that's the big thing that's happening in the background. Roku has said, we'll expose all our user data to you so you know whether your Amazon consumers are viewing products or not, and then viewing ads or not, and then making a purchase. There's this whole bucket of conversions at Amazon which are unallocated. And Amazon, yes, we served someone an ad. I just can't tell you with specificity exactly where they were because of this like walled garden or lack of data transparency. So this should actually, I think, helps. I hypothesize this will help solve for maybe a significant portion of this. And that's really valuable for brands to know where the conversions are coming.
It tracks with Amazon's whole point of differentiation of tracking throughout the funnel, not just upper funnel. Okay, 2 10s out the gate. That's a pretty bold start, but I love it. Armin, coming back to you for something that was not necessarily a highlight or a spotlight at Cannes over the linen suits and champagne. We did have quite a few of operational updates coming from Amazon in the past month. Changes to seller fulfilled prime, some return rate badging standards that seem to be tightening. We've seen now a final sale badge emerge on a lot of apparel products. I'm asking you maybe for a quick hitter here across the three of them, but can you catch us up to speed on what is happening across all of these?
Yeah, I think these updates go with tap water so you don't choke.
Very simple.
Yeah, the major theme here is that just Amazon is tightening the policies again. SFP as a program always had high standards, but based on my experience with working with brands, it was always one of those things like you get suspended and then you're just back after grinding with Amazon support and like reapplying, and then you reset and you're good. And now the three main changes are that starting this month, so end of June, beginning July, you're limited to 3 SFP trials attempts per calendar year. If you fail 3 times, that's it. And previously, this was unlimited. You also have to fulfill a minimum specific number of orders through SFP. Before, like it was, again, you could do 1 or 2 and that's it. Now it's actually at least 100 prime eligible orders monthly, and then they have to be spread out evenly throughout the week. And you only have 14 calendar days to appeal. Again, one of the things that was like you could appeal, somebody gets tired of it and like you get approved. So now it's 14 calendar days to appeal. And then when Amazon asks for information, you only have 4 days to respond. It's one of those things where we are making this stricter and less people will actually be able to sustain this, or those who deserve it will sustain.
All of that seems logical. That seems like fairly. You can't fly 100 times. You have to actually do some number of orders to prove you could do it. Like all of this aligns with the delivery speed is such a key value component for Amazon. If you're going to take on that on your own, be able to do it. I don't know. Seems fair.
Yeah, if you can't do this, like just use FP.
Don't do it.
The other one you said like return rates. This is kind of like a follow-up on the frequently returned item badge.
Yeah.
That we had on maybe last podcast or the one before that. But now like they're making a change that's applicable to Vendor Central. Amazon is basically giving you 2 options if your item is tagged by this frequently returned item badge, where they will either force you, there will be a request to send the product back to you at a refund 100% of the product cost, plus we charge you 10% shipping and handling fee. And then if you don't want that, Amazon can then dispose the item. And then they will charge you the same thing plus disposal fee. It's like you have to just take the product back if it's, of course, frequently returned.
This is only on the vendor side?
Only vendor side, yeah.
Because okay, where they have the power to do so in the agreements. Yeah, okay.
And
Makes
then
sense.
the last one, like final sale badge. This was pretty interesting to see. It seems like a test Amazon is running for select products and categories. Basically, you get this very prominent final sale badge, which looks like a lightning deal or best deal. But it also says it's no returns product and also seems to be a vendor thing. So we are seeing this from 1P side. I feel like this is more of a liquidation kind of thing where you have in apparel, for example, you have the small sizes that nobody wants to buy and then put it on a sale, just get rid of it and don't allow returns. But I am skeptical about the fact that shoppers are so used to returns.
Right.
There will be like a lot of back and forth. Okay, I cannot return and give me my money back.
100%.
It will be like one of those things where the customers will be refunded at some point if they really don't need or like the product.
That was my thought here too. It's like the perception of Amazon from a customer side is like I can order something and return it.
Yeah, they won't see like it's no return.
Yeah. So the amount of buyer messages that are coming to these apparel sellers that are using final sale, I can only imagine their poor customer service teams. Okay, great quick hits. Any of those? I guess the hype is maybe any hype on this. It's all just, hey, things are a little bit harder.
No hype at all. Final sale, I would be excited to see just data behind this. It's hard to know, but once it maybe becomes a seller thing as well, so we might get more data.
It probably has to go with it. Like Amazon has had this sort of liquidation program, but I assume at the end of the day, it's like, how compelling is that discount? And then the badge just sits with the discount.
Yeah. And then for sellers and vendors, how profitable it is, D2C or whatever.
Okay. Well, lots of good Amazon updates this past month. Let's move outside of Amazon world for a bit. Go to Walmart, which has, I feel like if we look at the past few roundups, they've been rapidly launching a bunch of ad tech solutions throughout their Connect platform. A lot of these, I would say, kind of seem like initiatives to keep pace with Amazon and what they developed. There's a couple things that I would put in the ad manager nerd zone and therefore are perfect fodder for you, Ross, specifically around negative keyword targeting. That was meant as flattery and conquesting sponsored products. Is this feature parity from Walmart? Do we see anything? There's like the measurement items, which I'm not even super clear on what that looks like. Is this anything that sort of feels differentiated and new in the Armin space? Like, where do you put these developments?
Definitely none of it is new. These are all like table stakes additions that Walmart has needed for a long time. Competitor conquesting or targeting competitor keywords has actually existed for a long time. We've been doing it for our brands for more than a year, I want to say. And it was always available. And even the AEs, so the account executives were like, just try it. And if it doesn't get flagged, like you just go with it. Now they're making it official, it sounds like. So they're just like letting... I don't know. I guess for a while they were maybe trying to say to brands to get them on the platform and run more ads. Don't worry, no one can conquest you. Your brand terms are safe, but
except for Ross, dirty dog.
Right. So there's that side of it. So that's just like catch up. That's not even really new for anyone who's Walmart savvy. And then on the other side, like adding negative keywords is like the most ridiculous thing that they didn't have for so long. It's just absurd. And so that will do a few really key things for brands. One, it's going to allow them to effectively segment their strategy for their campaigns. So you're going to have very clear branded versus non-branded campaigns, which allows you to know what you're basically funnel your investment into drive more incremental sales as much as possible. Because for a long time, even if you set a lot of exact match keywords or what have you, you'd still run the risk that you were serving ads to your own branded terms in some cases, especially with their auto campaigns, which the algorithm still, that I would say, gives a lot more credit to. So they perform a lot better in terms of delivery. So we're going to be able to negate that now. So I already know a couple of brands who are just going to be like head over heels, super happy about this. I know others that are going to say, whatever, it doesn't change our strategy too much. We were already trying to be incremental, but it just allows you to do better fundamental search advertising, which is to like look at your search term report, see what doesn't make sense and negate it. Thank you, Walmart, for adding this.
This is one of those that I chalk up to like us dum-dums that are not developers, where it's like, just let me put a minus sign in front of my keywords. Could that be?
Really, what it's done for Walmart is it's inflated ROAS on the platform for a long time. So it's made it look like it's a better platform in terms of ROAS for a long time because all the retail media nerds were like, it's a lot of branded terms, but you couldn't do anything about it. What are brand teams to do? They're like, great, the results are the results. Let's fund it. And so now I think you're going to have to be more scrappy as an operator on Walmart now. If you're a brand manager or if you're an e-commerce manager or a retail media manager or whoever out there, you're now going to have to like sing for your supper a little bit on Walmart a little bit more, which I think is honestly valuable and good for the space.
Yeah. Does that go to the sort of this measurement items announced too of the sort of like ability to measure things more granularly? Does that align here as well with I'm just going to have more control and a sense of how these ads are performing?
I would say so. I'd say it just deepens the pool of data available out of Walmart so that it's not lagged. And honestly, it has stagnated a little bit. Like they added video ads not too long ago, but that's been the last thing that they add. Like they haven't really been developing their search technology at all, whereas Amazon is constantly evolving.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like a lot of our recent announcements, it's been like, Vizio partnerships. Now you can buy interactive ads with connected TV and that sort of thing. And it's like, the search product still has to advance.
I think when Volcano came out, it was one of those things where Dante's Peak had been in production for a really long time. And another studio was like, what, a Volcano movie? And they just rammed it through the gate really quickly. That's what I feel happened with the Vizio announcement. It's like they found out that Amazon was doing something with Roku and they're like, we're going to get there first.
Yeah.
Push through the... I don't know.
No, the Volcano metaphor is apt. I'm glad you went with that and not the sort of two Truman Capote films that were released in tandem. There's a more narrower niche that would respond to that.
Yeah, right. Well, Philip Seymour Hoffman wasn't available for my metaphor.
Yeah. With dark. The last thing here that stayed in the Walmart space outside of ad tech, and we'll bounce back to you, Armin, but this, in my mind at least, it's like we'll see this when pigs fly moment and the pigs have strapped on their wings and are soaring above our heads. And that is Walmart finally saying that they will allow sellers to use Amazon's multi-channel fulfillment to fulfill marketplace orders on Walmart. I feel like this was just something that there was a lot of snide comments of Walmart finally gave in, took it from Amazon here. But do you see people using this extensively? Like now that this is an option, what's your take on this development?
Yeah, I think this is more of a recognition that brands will almost always think Amazon first and Walmart second. Walmart wants to make expansion to their marketplace easier, this is just a great way to do it because most sellers will already have products on Amazon. And there also seems to be some form of agreement between the two because Amazon is also allowing orders to be shipped using Walmart
from
multi-channel
WFS.
solutions. Yeah. So it's
Okay.
it's a two-way street, but I definitely think Walmart will benefit more. There's also rules that have to be kind of respected here. So it has to be plain packaging, no Amazon branding and stuff on the boxes. And then you also have to block Amazon logistics and only use unbranded carriers like USPS.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah. I mean, overall exciting news. Who would have thought that these two giants would come to an agreement, right?
Yeah. I feel like the speculation I've heard is, as you mentioned, I'm an Amazon seller. I have a lot of FBA product. I'm looking to test out Walmart. This is a low lift to do. But anyone with scale at Walmart is probably going to leverage WFS, or they have their own 3PLs and stuff. It's occupying that niche of the sort of smaller testing seller. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah. And I would also argue that on Walmart, if you're really established, like you're a 1P anyways.
Yeah, fair. That's true. You have brick and mortar placement and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Still seems monumental for the many years that this is resisted. So
a few weeks ago, this was something that got you suspended if you used it on Walmart.
Right. Much like negative keyword targeting. All up is down is up, and all the rules are off. Well, Armin, Ross, I know y'all are both quite busy getting ready for Prime Day. Target Circle Week, can't forget that as well. But I appreciate both of you taking your time out to chat with us today. Lots of exciting stuff, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.